Hill-Stead Museum in Farmington is an important cultural and recreational resource within easy reach of all the cities and towns in central Connecticut. Hill-Stead Museum is a place where art and nature flourish together, just as the family that designed this estate intended. Hill-Stead is a colonial revival house built at the turn of the 20th century and maintained just as it was when the family that built it lived here. Hill-Stead is their outstanding art collection. Hill-Stead is 150 acres of fields, trails, and scenic views. Hill-Stead is May Market and other seasonal events. Hill-Stead is also a beautiful sunken garden, the site of the annual Sunken Garden Poetry Festival. This program and the ones that follow are an invitation to attend this summer's series of poetry and music events.
For this series of programs, we have picked readings from the summer of 2016. We hope they will give you an idea of what it's like to spend an evening or an afternoon in the Sunken Garden at Hill-Stead Museum. And we hope you'll join us during our 25th anniversary season in 2017. This summer, Hill-Stead welcomes the following poets. On opening night, we welcome back Billy Collins on Wednesday, June 21st. On Sunday, July 9th, Jamal May and Tarfia Fazula will perform in the garden. On Wednesday, July 19th, we welcome Cornelius Eady, along with the winner of the 2017 Sunken Garden Poetry Prize. On Sunday, August 6th, Mark Doty and Eileen Miles. On Wednesday, August 16th, it's Connecticut Young Poets Day. We welcome our Fresh Voices student competition winners, along with Ocean Vong. People love the informality and outdoor setting of this festival. You can bring lawn chairs or blankets, pack a picnic, or buy dinner and wine from the vendors here. There's an hour of live music first, anything from jazz to folk to classical, and then you can hear some of the best poets in the country read poetry that is relevant and accessible. One of the country's leading poetry events, the festival introduces audience to U.S. and state poets laureate, Pulitzer Prize winners, and other major American poets in the intimate, informal setting of this historic garden. The festival's ongoing popularity is evidence that poetry still holds an important place in American culture, and that poetry has a unique power to remind us of our own common humanity.
I'm back. Only this time, I have the great pleasure of introducing Juan Felipe Herrera, a poet I've long admired and whom I met the first time earlier this year when he visited Skidmore College in Saratoga Springs, New York. We had a little downtime before one of his other events, and he was in my office, and we had, some kind of literary talk, and quickly it became a sing fest, and we started singing, and that's who he is. He makes you sing. He sings in his poetry, and he sings in person. He can't help it. Entonces, bienvenido, Juan Felipe Herrera. Juan Felipe de corazones. Canta y no llores. Juan Felipe Herrera. Por favor.
Oh, thank you. Muchas gracias, Peg. Let's give Peg a big mano, a super hand. Thank you. Muchas gracias. Thank you. Thank you. And thanks, everybody. Thank you so much for inviting me over to the Sunken Garden and to hang out with you and the flowers and the beautiful, beautiful trees that keep on painting themselves as the sun moves through them, and the beautiful little musical sounds, los sonidos de colores, all the beautiful animals, little animals floating around, and to be here and feel beautiful love, beautiful humanity. Let's give you all a big super mano to you. Okay, now really, it's all yours, and I'm so happy to be here. I want to tell all the good people at the Library of Congress what amazing work you're doing here, and they're doing amazing. We're doing amazing work there, but I want to tell them how you're doing here, and that's why I'm here. I'm here to read poetry, and I'm here to support every one of you and your beautiful voices, and your beautiful voice. Okay, so we're going to start with a poem called You Can't Put Muhammad Ali in a Poem. You ready for that one? Let's do that one. So here it goes. You can't put Muhammad Ali in a poem. If you did, it would knock you down. Remember Sonny Liston? And if you were still standing, you would have to bust out. Remember the march in Washington? Of your shaken, vaulted, poor thinking self. Oh, yes. Everybody say, oh, yes. And change. Everybody say, that's right. This big old world. Everybody say it. This big old world. And change. Everybody say, that's right. And if you did, everybody say, yes, you would have to battle with words and rhymes and body and time for your new idea. Everybody say, did you hear that? And propose. Everybody say, what? A new name for all. Everybody say, a new name for all. It would be peace. It could be unity. Everybody say, sounds easy. But this poem cannot provide this or contain this word. Everybody say, watch out. Here it comes. And it's going to sting like a bee. A big hand for you guys. Big hand. You can't put Muhammad Ali in a poem. You know, it's so big. It's about unity and peace and battling for peace and marching for freedom and singing it out with your beautiful voices, the way you want to sing it out, the way you want to sing it out. You know, I have a beautiful friend. I had a beautiful friend who passed away with lung cancer. And he used to always be in his little apartment in the Mission District in San Francisco. Remember San Francisco? And the Mission District? My mom worked at the downtown. She worked at the St. Francis in the 40s. She said, I was a salad girl, Juanito. Yo estaba en el San Francis y era salad girl. I worked in the St. Francis and I was a salad girl, Juanito. And she loved that time in the 40s. Working as a salad girl, which means you make the salads and you put it on the tray and with the steaks, and you take it to the main service area. And while Lawrence Welk was playing with his orchestra on the main floor at the St. Francis Hotel on Powell Street in the 40s. So my mom was working there in that environment. So Victor Martinez, we used to hang out in San Francisco and go to North Beach. Everybody say, go to North Beach. Hang out with Jack Hirschman and all the poetry beat poets. We'd wear green socks and tip our hats sideways and play mambo and say things like, hey, that was cool. That was cool. I like your poem. I like your poem. That's a cool leather jacket you're wearing, Juan. So Victor Martinez was always serious about his poetry. So this is for him, This is called a thought poem for Victor Martinez, Undelivered. You said what you wrote at this moment, here, was being written by someone somewhere else at the same time. This is the question. Some country, some town on stilts, in a broken concentration bus or a polished make-believe desk, a cheap, jungled-up clinic, an empty one, no supplies for the sickly, aged children deep in the rain-soaked, burnt tree forest, slapped-together hut, smoked with holiness, with festered branches and malaria strings, just maybe a promotor school, that short snout bus that takes us to a new arrangement. You said that. Would you be writing that there? Would you be living that there? Why would you care to write that there and that in that message without a message, that hunger known as life stuff, where every damp speckle and mud twig and the shout mouth hunger and that fulfillment? I do not know. Knowledge, let us call it that right now. What else could it be? Could it be that this gut water inside, burning its alphabet incomplete, calling for something you and I have bread? Is it bread? Is it ink? Is it simply placement? The empty, yellowing office floor across from my 15th floor as I tiptoe into the edge of it all. Tomorrow I read at the university. I stand up and read. Someone else is standing up and reading. Someone else is tiptoeing in a circle, a palaver, a crossing station in Talisman en route to Guatemala, halted halfway by soldados, a variety, a synonym where life splits and fissions, mind, sequence, pattern, reproduction, silence. You move your arm and put letters down on paper. You move your lips as you... But you're not here, are you, anymore? Spell it as you drink it, as you breathe it from that second galaxy. Yes, halfway down as I breathe it up, halfway's up as she ambles with an ancient rifle, the kind sold to Indians, through the shadow, greenness, mildew, heat, selva, in that human landscape spiraling, no one knows. So that's thought poem. And because Victor wrote in the back of his book of poetry, he labored on these things night and day. And he wrote about things happening, the same thing happening that you're doing somewhere else, exactly. And he called it super imagination. And then he passed away, and I never had a chance to ask him, what are you talking about? So I kind of I'm working it out here as best as I can. And he was a very thinking dude. I used to say, Victor, come on, publish your poetry. I already sent stuff out. I'm working on this poem, Juan. It's 15 pages. Then I come back a week later. I said, Victor, how's the poem coming? I mean, I already sent out poems, you know. Well, I'm down to 3 stanzas now, Juan. I mean, come on, it's serious business, Juan. Then I come back a month later. How's that coming? I already sent out like 5 more poems, Victor. It's down to 3 lines, Juan. 3 lines, okay? This is serious business. I'm cutting the lines. Words, Juan, words. And then I noticed that all the stuff I sent out had 1 billion typos in it. Even the gun does not want to be a gun. Even the gun does not want to be a gun. It denies the polish, its sea blood sculpted elegance, its weight and blue machine. It ignores its howl If only it could truly sing. If only it knew more than one long word of one long dismembered song. Thank you, thank you. Right? I don't think guns want to be guns. That's such a terrible thing they have to do. They're forced to do. And I was recently at the Warrior Woman Writers Workshop. That's called the Squaw Valley Workshop. But I felt like renaming it. And I had great students. And we had to all write poetry every day. So this is called Federico Garcia Lorca and the Angels of Celery. And this is dedicated to Imanol, who's from Spain, and the great Garcia Lorca. Federico Garcia Lorca and the Angels of Celery. For my Warrior Woman Workshop students. It's all green, listen to me. See that explosion of cloud and leopard? Of rebel dove and desolate wheels on the zapped corner? You can sew it in, here, with 60s buttons and paisley patch and an asparagus wig from Ginsberg's supermarket. Remember Whitman in there? That's him. Call the bloody bull decorated in moon love and jasmine and afternoon clocks. Call, please. You must do it. You must do it. Now you must. See this? See this? In La Plaza de Viges, where Mama Rumba was born, and her castanets of future sands and revolutionaries, and her belly timing the cosmos of blacks and Spaniards. So we are here now, Federico. We are scrubbing the ancient palaces with your angels of celery, your neon-headed, ragged Andaluz and Afro-Cubanismo and Afro-urban hip-hop checkered beat cemetery walker. Put it here with your ecstasy bodies of lily-shaped horns and bloody daybreak. That's what a great poet, huh, Federico Garcia Lorca? I always been a walker because my father was a walker and my mother was a walker. They majored in walking. They had PhDs in walking. One day my mother came home all sweaty with her friend Chavela. I said, "Mom, where were you?" "Oh, I went walking." I said, "Well, where did you go?" "National City." That was like miles. We lived in the middle of San Diego. And she walked and walked and walked. San Diego, Logan Heights, kept on walking, and the barrios, and kept on walking. And, Mainland Street, and kept on walking, hit National City. She turned around and kept on walking with Chavela, and kept on walking around the corner, past Lucky's, taqueria, and came all the way up. And finally, through, Pearson Ford, made it up 12th Street from Broadway, C Street, 14th, to where we lived. So that was my mom. She was a heavy-duty walker. So I walk a lot, and I get a lot of energy, and I meet a lot of people. And I've learned the name of watches when I was a kid, staring into jewelry stores. I'm a great window shopper. I have a lot of credit cards for window shopping, like maybe $30,000, credit cards. I can buy a lot of stuff window shopping, a lot of stuff. Elgin. Everybody say Elgin watch. Everybody say Bulova watch. Everybody say Citizen watch. Everybody say Longines. See, when you hit Longines, you got some aesthetic thing happening all of a sudden. So where were you? Where were you, Matilda? Oh, I was studying the Longines in the city on 2nd Street. I heard Albert Goldbarth read at the National Book Festival, right, in D.C. And he's a cool dude. He likes to holler and mix a lot of stuff up. So we kind of hang out like that. So this is for Albert Goldbarth and Margarita Robles, my partner, who told me to tell you that she wrote all my poetry. And this is called Dolphinating, a la Albert Goldbarth. Are you going to steal lines, collect manual typewriters 8 miles high, the serotonin Albert Goldbarth mentions, the sugary night, the howling, speeding? Most of all, are you going to hobble here? Time travel? A possible future burns your dolphin karma, forking out 500 lives from now. Whitman and pajamas, spotted leopard-like, piercing the unavoidable void, the obsessed barbecue where we swoop. Erzatz, mojo, bruja, hoodoo, scribble. It is popping Hendrix in your head. It is Joplin and Flor Silvestre and Rosetta Tharpe and Eats Papalotl. Do you know how awake you are? Noble, eightfold path, too dark, too lightning. The visualization is next. The Ukrainian purge, the intercontinental money, oh tsunami. Where's my crystal realized selfie? Oh, my love, my next Warhol dream. And Revolution Rouge. And where is my electric emerald one rain Vajra? Roll the ink and firestones, unfold the third eyes, the 10 million arms of Tata and Einstein, of compassion, of mercy, of nebula rails. Come alive. Jellyfish flags, I bow to you. Jellyfish world wheel of swish and suffering. I got stung by Albert Goldbarth. That's how I wrote that poem. I got stung. Albert Goldbarth stung me. He's a great guy. He dressed in black with a sombrero. I dressed in colors and a sombrero. My mother's name is Lucha. Your hands, my hands, kindnesses, dances, silences, sitting, you and I, you, I, El Paso, Texas, Segundo Barrio, Juarez, 1918, 1936, in gypsy dress, actress, you sing, I sing, we sing, lullabies of old, this, now, lines, now, my birth, heart, now, life, all life, now, I bow to you. As I travel, and as you and I travel, as our children travel, and our families and ourselves on our own, big things have been happening, right? Very painful things have been happening. And they're hard to even talk about. They're hard to deal with. And they're hard to solve. We're so far away from them, or perhaps we're too close to them. But we can express ourselves. We can write, we can say a few words, and we can sing a little bit, and we can also embrace ourselves. So I'm encouraging everyone to, when these things happen, and they seem to be happening quite a bit, I want you to write a little poem, which means I want you to write a few words. Whatever comes to your mind when you hear about these things, just write a few words. And that's good. It's going to be great. It's going to be healing. And then you can give those words, you can share those words. You can share those words. And that you can do. And that we can do. Don't you think? That we can do. That we can do. If we want to take it further, we can take it further. But we have to begin with our very own self. having a hard time with this paper. This is a similar kind of poem. This was very shocking. You remember what happened in Dallas. It was very shocking. And we must strive at all times to include everyone. It's hard. It's hard. It's like inviting everyone to your house. It's hard. Because we want to invite certain people. But this calls for inviting everyone to our house. That's where we are now. It's called At the Crossroads, a sudden American poem. Rest in peace, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, police officers, Brent Thompson, Patrick Samaripa, Michael Crow, Michael Smith, and Lorne Abrams, Dallas, and all their families, and to all those injured. Let us celebrate the lives of all as we reflect and pray and meditate on their brutal deaths. Let us celebrate those who marched at night, who spoke of peace and chanted Black Lives Matter. Let us celebrate the officers dressed in blues, ready to protect. Let us celebrate the departed as we did not know them before. Their faces, bodies, names, what they loved, their words, the stories they often spoke. Before we return to the usual business of our days, let us know their lives intimately. Let us take this moment, and impossible as it may sound, let us find the beauty in their lives in the midst of their sudden and never imagined vanishing. Let us consider the Dallas shooter. What made him? What happened in Afghanistan? What flames burned inside? Who was that man in Baton Rouge with a red shirt selling CDs in the parking lot? Who was that man in Minnesota toppled on the car seat with a perforated arm and a continent-shaped flood of blood on his white tee? Who was that man prone and gone by the night pillar of El Centro College in Dallas? This could be the first step in the new evaluation of our society. This could be the first step of all our lives.